Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
I thank the chairman for yielding, and with all due respect to my friend from New Mexico, I want to make the point that this resolution does not do anything to stop funding for the troops. As a matter of fact, it was this administration that sent 140,000 troops into harm's way without up-armored Humvees. No, I won't. There's nothing in this to cut funding for the troops. But you can stay as I tell that this administration sent 140,000 troops into harm's way without up-armored Humvees, without Kevlar vests. And what did Secretary Rumsfeld said? He said you go to war with the army you have, not the army you wish you had. We are the United States of America. We should never go into harm's way, never go into harm's way without up-armored Humvees and Kevlar vests. The Washington Post did a front page piece just the other day. And it says that we still don't have the most effective up-armored Humvees that are available in the United States. It is not acceptable and inexcusable and indefensible. Now, I will be going to Iraq in a few days. I expect to see a country, unfortunately, that has gotten worse and worse in terms of the level of violence than the one I visited in 2003 and January of 2005. When I came back in January of 2005, I presented a strategy, a white paper, Iraq, the light at the end of the tunnel. Many of those recommendations were included in a bipartisan Iraq study group with distinguished experts on foreign policy and military affairs. They didn't call for more troops in Iraq. What they called for was for America to go in the background. The simple facts bear out a true grim reality. We're told that we're going to rebuild the country's infrastructure. But here are the facts. Iraq has less electricity than it did before the war. Residents of Baghdad get 4.5 hours of electricity now, a quarter of what they expected before the war. We were told that oil revenues would pay the incumbent. You know what I see? I see a president who seems to be desperate to divert attention away from the missteps, away from holding people accountable, and just hold on to Iraq as long as he can and let the next administration deal with it. When I watched his speech, when I listened to Secretary Gates describe, I saw nothing that gave me the impression that the escalation would do any good in the long term. When we need to be encouraging Shias, Sunnis, with a simple message. Mr. President, the American people want a policy that changes directions. We urge you to rethink this policy of escalating the war in Iraq.
Gentleman, time has expired. Why does the gentleman from Arizona rise?